Good morning, everyone. Now, the part 4 of the chapter biomolecule is protein. The name protein meaning prominent, that is prominent or first, chosen by Berzelius. Berzelius was scientist. So the name protein means prominent or the first. It was chosen by this name was chosen by the Berzelius because the protein plays a very important or the vital role in the structure and the metabolism of the biological cell. That's why it has given the name protein. Now, these are the vital chemical substances. Protein are the vital chemical substances essential for the growth and maintenance. Essential for the growth and maintenance of life. These are vital compound essential for the growth and the maintenance of the life. They perform a variety of biological function, and one of the important function is animal cell wall. Animal cell wall is composed by the protein. This is the very important function of the protein. Now, chemically, the proteins are the element of the carbon, hydrogen, oxygen and nitrogen. So the carbon, hydrogen, oxygen and nitrogen, these all are present in the protein, and some of they may also have the element like sulfur, phosphorus, iodine, and the traces of the metal like iron, zinc, manganese. These type of the elements are also present in the protein. And upon hydrolysis of protein, when the protein is hydrolyzed, it is decomposed as, for example, you have protein. This is protein. Now the process of hydrolysis is carried out. This is now the process of hydrolysis is carried out. You get peptides. Again, the hydrolysis takes place and you get the amino acids. So this is the way by which the protein is hydrolyzed. Now, our next topic is amino acids. Amino acids. So, the amino acids, these amino acids contain a primary amino group, that is NH2, and a carboxylic group, that is COOH. And depending upon their relative position in the carbon atom chain, the amino are classified as alpha, beta, gamma, delta, and so on. So the amino acid contain the amino group as well as the carboxyl group, that is COOH. Now, however, upon the hydrolysis, the protein give only alpha amino acid. Here I have written, when the hydrolysis of protein takes place, we get the amino acid. So when the protein is hydrolyzed, we get only alpha amino acid. Now, for example, one alpha amino acid is, that is NH2. Here the amine group is present. C, this is the COOH, this is the carboxylic group is present. Now R is the alkyl group, and H, this is the type of a alpha amino acid. So upon hydrolysis, the protein gives only alpha amino acids. The amino acid which can be synthesized by the body. The amino acid are synthesized inside our body. So the amino acid which can be synthesized by the body are known as non-essential, are called non-essential amino acids. The amino acid which are synthesized by body are known as the non-essential amino acid, while those which body fails to synthesize are called essential amino acid. That is essential amino, this is acid. Those amino acid which are not synthesized inside our body, they are known as the essential amino acid, and they are designated by small e. This is a small e. It means they are the essential amino acid. So they must be obtained through the diet. They are not synthesized inside our body. These amino acid are usually colorless crystalline solid. They are the solid, but they are colorless and crystalline. They are water soluble, they are high melting point solids, and behave like a salt. These amino acids, they behave like a salt rather than simple amine or the carboxylic acid. We know, we have earlier discussed that it contains the amino group and the carboxyl group, but they behave like a salt. They doesn't behave like a simple amine or the carboxylic acid. And this behavior of the amino acid, so the salt behavior of the amino acid is due to the presence of both, because this is carboxylic acid, means this is acid, and amino group means this is basic. This is acidic and this is basic. That's why when the acid combined with base, we get a salt. That's why the amino acid behaves as a salt. It doesn't behave as a simple amine. It doesn't behave as a carboxyl group or carboxylic acid. It behaves as a salt because of the presence of both acidic group as well as because of the presence of the basic group. Now the next topic is the classification of amino acids. So the amino acids are classified into three categories. First is the acidic, then the basic, and then the neutral. As it is clear from the name that acidic means, in case of the amino acid, the acidic part is carboxylic part or carboxyl group. So if the COOH, that is the carboxyl group, is present in excess, it is called the acidic amino acid. Here the basic group is amino group. If amino group is present in excess, so it is known as the basic amino acid. And neutral, when both the acidic and the basic group are present in equal proportion. That's why it is known as the neutral amino acid. Now we have the example of some amino acid. Right now we have the 20 amino acids. So we have some example. So the first is the name of the amino acid is glycine. 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 Glycine is the first amino acid and its symbol is Gly. G should be small. It is the first letter. Ly are the next two letters. They are the small. And the one letter code for the glycine is G. This is the one letter code. This is the three letter symbol. And this is the name of the amino acid. Next is the alanine. 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 That is ALA. And the symbol is A. Next one is the valine. VALINE. That is VAL. And this one is V. So these are the amino acid. This is the three letter code and this is the one letter. This is the three letter symbol and this is the one letter code. But there are certain other amino acid like that is lysine. Lysine, that is N. LYS, but its symbol is K. The symbol is K. This is the lysine. Next one is, that is glutamic acid. It's a very popular and a very common, glutamic acid, GLU, but the symbol is E. So these are the few example of amino acid. This is the 3-letter symbol and this one is the 1-letter code. Now the amino acid, this is a type of amino acid. This is one type of amino acid. The amino acid is also considered as a Zwitter ion. Now what is the meaning of Zwitter ion? When in aqueous solution means when the amino acid is combined with the water. So in aqueous solution, the carboxyl group, this one is the carboxyl group, this is the carboxyl group. So what happen, it gives R, this is CH, this one is NH3, this is C double bond O, and this one is O. Now in the, here this is NH2 and here this one is the NH3. So in aqueous solution, the carboxyl group can loses a proton. Here the proton term is used for the hydrogen, proton, and the amino group, this group and the amino group accept a proton. Now this carboxyl group loses the proton and this amino group accept a proton, giving rise to the ion, this type of ion, because it contains the negative charge and here it contains the positive charge. So give rise to the ion, and this ion is known as the Zwitter ion. This ion is called the Zwitter ion. So this is neutral. But contain both the positive charges. The Zwitter ion is neutral, but it contains both the charges. Here it contains the negative charge and here it contains the positive charge. And that is the reason why the amino acid is considered as a Zwitter ion, because in the aqueous solution, the carboxyl group loses a proton, whereas the amino group accepts a proton. Now it is NH2, now it becomes NH3. So this is called the Zwitter ion, which contain the Zwitter ion. It is the ion, so it contains the positive and the negative charge. Both the charges are the same, so it is a neutral. Now the next topic is peptide. So that is peptides. So peptides are the compound formed when two or more molecule of the amino acid combine with the loss of the water molecule, and they linked with each other with the help of the peptide bond, that is CONS. This is the peptide bond. So it is known as the peptides. There is a loss of the OH part from the carboxyl group. We are talking about the loss of water molecule. So the OH group is lost from the carboxyl group, and the hydrogen atom is from the amino group, and a molecule of a water is formed or eliminated. So this is called the peptide. Let us discuss about the one example of the peptide. We have the glycine, that is H2N CH2 C double bond O and OH. This is glycine. This is the structure of the glycine. So when glycine is combined with alanine, that is N, this is H, CH, here it is CS3, C double bond O, this one is OH. Now this part is removed. This is the loss of the water molecule. Here the loss of the water molecule takes place, that is minus H2O. This is alanine. This one is alanine. Now we have H2, this is N, CH2, C double bond O. This remains same. Now N, now this is H, CH, here CH3, C double bond O, here OH. Now this is the, and this is known as glycyl This is glycine, this is glycine, so it is glycyl alanine. And that is GLY and ALA. So this is the loss of water. Here the loss of water molecule takes place, and this is the example of peptide. This is the example of peptide, and this is the, we are here, I have written the peptide bond. This is the peptide bond, that is CONS. This one is the peptide bond. Now, depending upon the number of amino acid present, the peptides have been classified as, the one is the oligopeptide, second one is the polypeptide, and third one is the protein. Protein is a type of amino acid. It is a peptide. So, oligopeptide, the first one is the oligopeptide, means it contains 2 to 9 amino acid. 2 to 9 amino acid. It contains 10 to 100 amino acid, and protein contain more than 100 amino acids. So this is the classification, and this classification is based on the number of amino acid present. So this is the classification of the peptide. Now the next topic is classification of protein. Classification of this is protein. So protein are classified on the basis of their composition. This is the first criteria, and also upon the product of hydrolysis. This is the another criteria, the product of hydrolysis as well as the basis of their composition. So the first heading is based on the composition. It is the classification based on the composition, and under this heading, the first is fibrous. This is fibrous protein. So, the fibrous protein consists of linear molecule. Linear molecule. It is clear from the name, means it is in the form of a fiber. So, the fibrous protein contains the linear molecule which are placed side by side, to form the fiber. The different polypeptide chains are held together with each other by the intermolecular hydrogen bonding. It means when the polypeptide chain are connected to each other in case of the fibrous protein, so they are connected with the hydrogen bonding, and if there is a hydrogen bonding, so it is clear that it is a strong intermolecular force of attraction in between the different chain. So they have a long fibrous, we are talking about the fibrous protein, long thread-like structure. They have a long thread-like structure. They are insoluble in water. And why they are insoluble in water? Because of the strong intermolecular forces. Now there are various examples of fibrous protein. For example, keratin. This keratin is present in the skin. Next is the myosin. Now the myosin is present in the muscles. Next is the fibrin. Fibrin is present in the milk. Keratin, myosin, fibrin. One more example is here, that is the collagen. So these all are the example of the fibrous protein. Now the next type of the protein is globular. That is globular protein. This is the next type of protein, globular protein. So in these protein, the molecules of polypeptides are folded. In case of the fibrous protein, they are the long thread-like structure, but in case of the globular protein, the different chain or the proteins of the polypeptide chains are folded in a compact structure forming a spherical shape, and they are generally soluble in water. These are the property. They are generally soluble in the acid, bases, and the salt, and the function of the globular protein is to maintain and regulate the life cycle. And the example of the globular protein is the enzyme insulin, because insulin maintain the sugar level. Hemoglobin is also the example of the globular protein. Hemoglobin is present in the blood, and the function of the hemoglobin is to transport the oxygen from one organ to the another organ. And third one is the antibodies. We all know very well that antibody protect the body from the outside infection. So these all are about the globular protein. Now the next criteria for the classification of protein is based on the hydrolysis, that is hydrolysis product. This is the another criteria, that is the hydrolysis product. So on the basis of the hydrolysis product, the first type of protein is called the simple protein. The first type of protein is known as the simple protein. So these simple protein are which when hydrolyzed to form only one amino acid. When the simple protein are hydrolyzed, they form only amino acids. And the example are, that is globulin. Globulin is the example of simple protein. Glutalin, this is glutalin. Albumin, these all are the simple protein. Now the second type of a protein is, that is conjugated protein. Second type of a protein is conjugated protein. So in this case, a protein part is linked to the, in case of the conjugated protein, the protein part is linked to the non-protein part, and that non-protein part is known as the prosthetic group. That is called prosthetic group. Protein part is connected with the non-protein part, which is known as the prosthetic group. So the prosthetic part is mostly concerned with the spatial biological function of the protein. It is responsible for the spatial biological function of the protein, and the conjugated protein have different types depending upon the nature of the prosthetic group. Depending upon the nature of the prosthetic group, the conjugated protein are classified into the various category. So this is the classification. First is the nucleoprotein. The first is nucleoprotein. Now it is clear from the name that if the prosthetic group is nucleic acid, that is nucleic acid. If the prosthetic group is nucleic acid, that time it is known as a nucleoprotein. Now the second is glycoprotein, that is glycoprotein. Again, it's clear from the name is if the prosthetic group is carbohydrate. Prosthetic group is carbohydrate, that time it is termed as a glycoprotein. Next is the chromoprotein. Chromoprotein. Again, it is clear that the prosthetic group is of some pigment. Chromo, we are using this word for the pigmentation or the color. So the prosthetic group is some pigment having some metals such as iron, copper, manganese, etc. in the structure, and the example of the chromoprotein is hemoglobin, chlorophyll. These all are the chromoprotein. They belongs to the color pigment. And the third type of the protein on the basis of the hydrolysis product is derived, that is derived protein. Third part is known as the derived protein. These are the protein formed by the partial hydrolysis. When the partial hydrolysis of the simple conjugated proteins takes place, at that time we get the derived protein. They are formed by the partial hydrolysis of the simple conjugated protein, and the example of the derived protein are the peptides, peptones. These all are the derived protein. So on the basis of the hydrolysis product, the protein are of three types. First is the simple protein, second is the conjugated protein, and third one is the derived protein.